I shouldn't be telling you guys this, but story time. See, a lot of things in my life have caused trust issues. You know, like raisin cookies. Me thinking they're chocolate chip cookies, but they not. Like when he tell you they just friends, but they really not. That type of betrayal. This is why I can't go to the restroom with the light off at night. So once upon a time, I was pregnant. I was creating life inside my womb. Anyway, so I was like 7 months going on 20 months pregnant. When a woman is pregnant, TMI, she really can't hold her pee. If you laugh too hard, ha, you peed. If you sneeze, you pee. You get scared, you pee. It really be hard sometimes. So this time at night, I was asleep and I felt it. I was like, ooh, it's coming. It's coming out. I'm over here struggling to get off the bed. I'm running to the restroom. I go and sit down on the toilet. My booty, bloop, touch that cold water there. As my husband left the toilet seat up, the baby almost came out.
Story time on how I caught my pastor trying to sleep with his dog. Okay, so boom, let's jump right into it. So my family is very religious and we go to church every single Sunday. We also go to church every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As you can imagine, since we're there 24/7, my parents have a great relationship with our pastor. He invites us over all the time and my mom even cooks for him since he has no wife and kids, but he has a dog. Well, one day my mom cooked for him and told me to go drop it off to surprise him with his favorite dish. I casually go over there as I've done many times before and I knock on the door, but he didn't answer. I see his car out front, so I know he's here, so I tried going to the back of the house. He has a window in his room where he would be able to see me. I went to the back of the house so I can get his attention to open the door and give him the food. When I looked into that window, my soul left. Like for part 2. Part 2 on how I caught my pastor trying to sleep with his dog. Okay, so boom, like I said, I go to the back of his house where I know I could get his attention. A window in the back that shows right into his room. I maybe overstepped my boundaries by going to the back of his house, but I was excited to give him this food that my mom cooked for him because again, this was his favorite dish. Well, when I got to his window and started knocking on it, my pastor was completely naked. But oh no, not just that. His dog was on the bed and he was actively trying to put his hot dog in the bun. I just couldn't believe it and I ran back home. I didn't even want him to know that I seen that. I just told my mom he wasn't home and she should just drop it off later and I just ran to my room. Now he gives me nothing but the creeps, but I haven't told anyone. Should I say something or should I turn a blind eye?
We had one of the worst experiences with the waiter at Texas de Brazil, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not even mad. I'm just like disappointed. And I caught our reactions on video. So tell me why we pull up to Texas de Brazil, because you know we're going for my cousin's birthday. The waitress was okay in the beginning. She wasn't doing her job bad. It was just as it got later and later, we started noticing like she was uncomfortable when we would ask for like refills and stuff like that. Like, bro, we're paying $50 per person to eat here and we're gonna tip you. Like, why you gotta be huffing and puffing? But that wasn't the word. She was like, is it all gonna be together because I'm bringing the tab out right now? And we're like, actually, can you bring us the dessert menu? It's my cousin's birthday. We want to sing happy birthday to him. This will baffle mankind. Why is she gonna say, do you want it for here or to go? Why would we want it to go? We literally just said we're gonna sing happy birthday to him. And for anybody that says it's protocol, that's not what the manager said. But that's not all. We order a carrot cake. She leaves, comes back in 30 seconds and says this. We're like, I guess we'll take the chocolate mousse. Why is she gonna come out with the carrot cake? She said there was no carrot cake, but they ended up bringing the carrot cake. I think she was just testing our patience to see if we were like, oh, you don't have it, let's leave. Then when it was time to pay the tab, why is she gonna be all up in my cooler like? She was hovering on my back when I was trying to tip her. I was like, wow. She's crying because of this situation.
Stupidest mistake I've ever made was accepting a job offer that a friend hooked me up with where he would be managing me at work. And if you ever get an opportunity to accept a job offer from someone you've rejected, don't. I should have known that. Our boss should have known that. He should have known that. Somebody should have said no. Nobody did. And it wasn't the kind of rejection where he said, would you go on a date with me? And I said, oh, I wish I could, but here's a really obvious excuse that we're both going to pretend is true as to why I can't. No, it wasn't that. He met me freshman year of college and said, I'm in love with you and I'm going to woo you and he decided what our kids were going to be named, and he would text me Taylor Swift songs, not lyrics, entire songs. And he wasn't some guy that I met at like a bus stop and could easily shake either. What happened was my best friend was marrying his best friend while they fell in love. It was like this years long Julia Roberts, Hugh Grant romance, and the best friends, me and this other guy, were in the background either flirting or verbally assaulting each other. He sent me letters while I was home visiting my family. The first one had a pressed dead bug in it, and it was a breakup letter, even though we weren't dating. And then the second letter he sent me was saying something to the effect of, "Who are we kidding? We can't fight this. We're in love." And there was loose beef jerky in it. And I knew that he sent it because he always said that when he got married, he wanted his wife to eat a lot of beef jerky so she would taste like it all the time when they kissed. And my parents were like, "Why would this man send you beef jerky?" And I was like, "I don't know. Why do men do anything?" After our two best friends got married, he came over to my apartment and said, "Listen, everybody in the friend group is paired off and married except for us, so it just makes sense that you and I," and I said, immediately no. And he said, "Well, fine, then I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep." And I said, "No, you're gonna go home, eat some cold cereal, and you're gonna feel fine." And he said, "I don't even like cold cereal, so thanks for rubbing that in," and he left. He reached out 3 months later and said, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And he said, "You'll have to come in and interview," which was the second time I've been interviewed by someone I knew. And it's weird getting interviewed in your early 20s by someone you went to college with, because it feels like you're in a play pretending to be grown-ups. Like you go in and you say, "I'm here to see Brady," and the middle-aged receptionist said, "Oh, Mr. Johnson, yes, I will alert him of your presence." And then she takes you to see Mr. Johnson, and he's got an office and a tie, and he's behind a desk, and he's like, "What is your biggest weakness?" And I said, "You know the answer to that question better than I do." And he said, "That is true, but you have to answer it, and if you lie to me, I will know." And I was so flustered by that I was like, well, sometimes when people yell at me, I cry. After I got hired, we were hanging out and I was telling him that I was going to call out the guy that I was dating for lying to me and saying that his phone was off for 3 days, even though he'd seen all of my Instagram stories. And my buddy boss said, "Don't do that. That's crazy. You're being crazy." And I said, "I'm sorry." He aggressively pursued me for 2 months, ghosted, lied about it, and I'm the crazy one. And buddy boss said, "Yeah, you're crazy for noticing him watching your Instagram stories." And I was like, how are you the boss of me? The words coming out of your mouth are stupid. I was leaving this lecture hall once, and this girl who knew me saw me and ran up, and she was like, "Hey, hi, how are you?" And I said, "Oh, hey, crazy seeing you here." And she said, "Do you need a ride home?" And I said, "Sure." And so she was giving me a ride home, and I happened to know that she had gone through a breakup recently. And I said, "So how are you feeling with everything since the breakup?" And she told me that her ex was dating this blue-eyed blonde girl, and she was so annoyed because the girl before that he was dating was a blonde. And she was like, "And I just hate blondes. I hate them so much. I can't stand them. They make me so angry. Every time I look at a blonde, I just get so mad, you know?" And I was like, yeah, blue-eyed blondes suck, or they're the worst. They're the worst. And she just kept ranting. She's like, "I just hate blondes. They just fill me with rage every time I look at them." And I'm just like, sometimes I wish they didn't exist. And I dyed my hair blonde once, but I just didn't like it, so I didn't keep it. And I hate blondes. And I was like, am I safe in this car right now? Are you going to drive us off a cliff? Was this a plan that you hatched up?